But I've been a freelancer myself. I've been working on my own as a marketing consultant for the last 10 or 12 years. So hopefully what I'm trying to do is to help you guys to figure out your stuff. I know Alina mentioned at the start that it's very, very hard to get time to devote to marketing in any structured way as a freelancer, right? And I'm guilty of that myself. I'm a terrible hypocrite. But what I try and do is I devote a few hours, probably 2 hours every Friday to focusing just on marketing for myself, because if I don't, it doesn't happen. You know, the operation and the work for my clients has to come first, but we have to be disciplined in it. Otherwise it won't happen. So anyway, I put together this presentation, which I'll share now. It's only 17 pages long, so there is plenty of opportunity for people to ask questions, interrupt, ask for help in their own case, whatever you want to do. I'd be very delighted to hear from everybody. Just to start off, I wanted to say that as I believe in marketing, what we should be doing all the time is using what we learn to continuously create superior value for our targeted customers. And if you break that down, there's a lot in it. It's a great sentence because it's saying that we need to continuously create superior value. That means make the experience better and better for our targeted customers. And because targeted customers is in there, it focuses our minds on making sure that we're talking to a particular person or business. And it also it has that phrase, what we learn. And to me, that's really important because it reminds us that all the time we should be gathering more and more information. Marketing for any business should be a process of evolution. So we try things, we measure them, we evaluate, we tweak them, we change them a little bit, and we try again all the time. So I know that you guys are all experienced freelancers in a lot of different industries, and you probably are sick to the back teeth of listening to people talking about creating personas for digital marketing, but I just thought I'd go over it again. I have clients that do, my job is to be a general marketing director. So I'm a marketing consultant. I don't focus on digital and I don't implement. So I look at a business's marketing needs from an holistic point of view, I suppose. And so from my point of view, I am a human and I can only retain a couple of things in my head at the one time. If I'm writing for a customer, it's very difficult to have 4 or 5 personas that you will be talking to. So my recommendation is that we always need to niche down on our customers. That doesn't mean that you exclude anybody, but it means that you have a primary target audience and you can have a secondary, tertiary, or whatever. But when we're talking and when we're trying to attract customers, we need to focus on one so that we do not become bland and boring, and that we cut through to the right audience. The other audiences may come along afterwards, and that's fine, or you may do different activity to get them, but it's very important to be specific about who you're talking to. And as a small business, we don't have generally the budget to go to a research agency and ask them to give all the details of the value of the market, the types of people that are in it, etc. And we have to do our own thing. What I've found works for me is basically, so as a marketing freelancer, a one-person business, I am looking for businesses. I need to know how many businesses there are in my geographical area that I might be able to target. So I use online searches. I look at local networks. like chambers of commerce, look at their business lists, look at the local enterprise offices or any business support agencies to see how many businesses of the type that I'm looking for are out there. In order to hone in on who I should be targeting, I find it very useful, at least I'd say twice a year, to look at very carefully at all of my invoices, the people that have actually spent money with me, and to track back where they came from. And it's a very interesting exercise, because I find in a lot of cases they've actually come from warm contacts or networking events, as well as referrals. The other thing to do is to categorize the businesses that those invoices came from, to try and think, what are the common denominators? What is the repeating pattern that you can focus on? So for me, where I am, I started off in London working for big companies like Coca-Cola, etc. But now I'm in the countryside in the southeast of Ireland. And I find that actually the clients that I have worked with in the past who have delivered good business to me and haven't been a lot of trouble, those are the people that we want to focus on. Those kind of businesses are actually smaller family businesses with about 8 to 50 employees who don't have an in-house marketing resource. So for me, I have managed to work that out for myself. And that's kind of broad enough to include a large group of businesses, but it's specific enough for me to exclude a lot of people that I'm not going to waste my time talking to. Specifically, if they come to me for business, that's great, but I'm going to focus my attention on those small family businesses with 8 to 50 employees with no marketing resource. When we're thinking about our customers and profiling them, so I've said, as I said, small family business, 8 to 50 employees, etc. Those kind of statistics don't really help me in terms of how I position myself to them. So we need information on the target market's beliefs and attitudes to help me position myself and to help you guys as well. So I just pulled up an example there of 2 people that have a lot in common. They're both female. They're both born in 1986. Both of them went to a Catholic school. Both were encouraged by their parents, and they're both really highly successful. But they're quite different in their personalities and how they conduct their lives. And if you were doing marketing to either one of them, the tone of voice that you use and the incentives, etc., would need to be quite different. So just to bear that in mind. What I recommend is that we need to talk to our clients all the time, our clients and our prospective clients. As a freelancer myself, and I don't know if it's the same for you guys, but the relationship, I'm so lucky. I work in a small place and I have a great relationship with my clients. It's very, very different from working in central London and working for big companies where there may be a churn of staff. Here, the relationship is very personal. And sometimes it can feel embarrassing to ask a client really how do they feel about you and the service, etc., etc. But what I have found is that clients and ex-clients, prospective clients, are very happy to talk to you and to share their feelings and their experiences. And we should be using this and putting together as much information as we possibly can. Your clients, in most cases, want you to be successful and want to help you. So they usually are very happy to do this. So find out what it is that they feel you are delivering. You wouldn't believe that how many times people hire you for something that you're delivering you don't even realize, or at least you haven't articulated it, you haven't used the words that they're using. It's really important to find out the problems that they have, that they face every day, and the things that they're really worried about, and the things that they hope for, because that's really what you're helping them with. It's not the sort of practical, rational stuff. It's what they're worried about. Go for coffee or go for lunch with clients, at least once a year. It's a far better investment than giving them a little Christmas gift or something like that, to say, let me buy you lunch next week or whatever. And then picking their brains over, I'd really love to know how you feel about this, or what you're trying to achieve, or what jobs you want done, or whatever. And as I said, be upfront. Tell them that you're looking for help. Tell them that I'm trying to sort out my marketing. I'm trying to take on another couple of clients, and I'd love your help with this. I really respect your opinion. And I'm sure a lot of them would be very happy to help. Now, hold on now. Oh yeah. So an idea that I had and undertook in the last year was to email some clients and other people just in my peer group, in my industry, to ask them what they think it is, what they think my benefits are, to see what will come back. It was actually following on from a podcast, a really great podcast that I would recommend to everybody, called Everybody Hates Marketers, which is probably true, but it's an excellent marketing podcast. Anyway, so I emailed, I think it was about 15 contacts, and asked them what they think my benefits are. Here's a sample email. And what I would ask each of you to do is to maybe to draft that email and just commit to sending it out. So what does the wording that I've used, I call it, now we're in Ireland, you'll have different ways of talking to your customers, or I'm in Ireland. So I've said a small ask. So that's asking for a little favor. I hope all is well with you. This is a client that I did some marketing mentoring for on a couple of occasions. I hope all is well with you. I wonder if you could help me out. I'm reviewing my own marketing strategy and trying to make sure I am on the right track. Could you let me know in a few words, it doesn't even need to be a whole sentence, what my unique ability is, just from your own experience of me. Thanks a million, blah, blah, blah. So it's being quite, even talking to you now, I'm quite embarrassed about asking people for this. It took a bit of courage for me to do this. I feel like a bit of an idiot, but in fact, the responses that I got, I don't have any staff or colleagues. The responses that I got were amazing. Everybody that I emailed came back to me, and here's a sample of one of the responses. Hi, Paula, no problem at all. You have a great way of getting into a business to see it from an owner's perspective, and so to understand the needs and focus for the marketing requirement. You listen, but are not afraid to give your own opinion based on your own experience also. 2 exclamation marks, not sure what to make of that, but I could go on. Can you get anything out of that? Blah, blah, blah. This lady actually thought I was finishing up in marketing. Oh, whoops. Anyway, she was really lovely, and I was delighted to get the feedback from her. As I said, everybody replied, and a lot of people actually thought that I had wanted a testimonial to go on my website or whatever, but that's not what I wanted at all. But it was very kind and nice of them to do it. So what I tried to do then is to look for common denominators from that. The other thing that I did was, if you guys ask for reviews on LinkedIn, I kind of try and make myself ask for a new review fairly regularly from different clients that I have worked with. And again, most people are happy to do that. And for me, I have 54 there altogether. I don't really know if I've got any business out of them at all, but I suppose if somebody was checking, wanted to check my credibility or whatever, it serves a purpose there. But what I do use it for is to see what words people are using to describe me, and to see, does that match with what I think I'm trying to get across, and if there's any warning flags there or anything like that. So what I do is look for the repetitions. So, high level of expertise, attentive and understanding, clarity, and help in my new business. That clarity I like, because I think that that's really important. When I talk to my clients, a lot of the time, because they're small family businesses and they don't have a marketing resource, they are confused to hell about marketing and what they should be doing. They get so many different messages online, etc., and from different business experts that they should be doing X, Y, and Z in digital marketing. They should be doing this on TikTok. They should be doing that, and they're really frazzled because they don't have time to do any marketing, but they definitely do not have the brain space to work all of that out. So the next step in this process is to think about your competition, to list your competitors, and depending on what business you're in, it could be another service provider, or in a lot of cases it could be software applications, and apps that they might use instead of a human, and focus on the biggest threat. So I've just taken myself as an example there again. My competitors include agencies in urban areas. I'm not sure if any of you are located outside the main cities, etc. But the thinking in Ireland sometimes is that they need to go to a big city to get the best kind of service, and that happens quite a lot where I am. Also, individual marketing consultants, but I find with a lot of digital marketing offering specifically. So there's very few that the other ones are general business consultants with marketing offering. For me, there's very few marketing consultants that just focus on marketing and marketing strategy in my area. But anyway, this is who my competitors are. So now this is the real meat of this for me. This is an exercise called Features, Advantages, Benefits. And maybe some of you guys have already done this, and I apologize if you have, but maybe together we can get some more out of it. To me, this is the most important work that you can ever do for your business. And there's a little bit of repetition, I think, or let's say it chimes well with Martin's presentation, because there are similarities, let's say. So a features, advantages, benefits analysis shows how those things all work together to differentiate the brand in the marketplace. It is a great way to define your customer proposition or positioning statement. Your customer proposition or positioning statement, there's lots of different phrases for it, is the most important thing in your marketing ammunition. It's what everything else should be based on. The idea comes from research, which has shown when we buy anything, when people buy anything, they start off thinking about the features. So all the factual things about the business or the product, the color, the price. In my case, I'm a one person business, what qualifications I have, what experience I have, the processes I use, and the pricing. So the processes actually, I think for us freelancers, are hugely important here, in a lot of cases, there's real gold in how people deliver what they do. But anyway, sorry, I'm digressing. The idea is to look at, we all in consumer psychology, we start looking at the factual features of any product or service, etc. But when we are comparing two like things, it's always an emotional factor that pushes us in one or the other direction. So it's always an emotional benefit that makes us choose A over B, X over Y. So features is all about factual. The advantages is all about how that feature makes you better than your competitor. That's why we need to look at the competitor in advance. And the benefit is what that delivers to your customer, what emotional benefit that delivers to your customer, like how does it make them feel, etc. This is all from the perspective of the customer. So not from your perspective, from the customer as they see it. So it's very important. This exercise is very painful and should take a very long time. You should put as many features as you possibly can in there and work each one of them out. It's really not easy. But as I say, what it would deliver is your customer proposition or position statement that you will use forever. And it will identify the benefits that you deliver to your customer. And over here, it will deliver a lot of content that you can use. It makes you probe and probe and probe what it is that you have, what it is that you do, and why those things are better than the competition. So it is really, really well worthwhile. So I've just started there to give a little bit of an example of some features. So the fact that it's a smaller one-person business, what qualifications you have, experience, processes, pricing, anything else that anyone can think of, maybe the languages that you speak, the tools that you use, I don't know, you have 60 reviews or a million, that type of thing. They're just facts that nobody can argue with, totally objective. So for each one of those, then you think about the advantages. And here it is extremely important to make sure that each of these is a comparison word. So it's more, better, etc., etc. So for example, I have I'm sounding very egotistical here, but anyway, I am a one-person business, which means to my customers, so they're the small businesses with no marketing resource, it means that I am more accessible. That means if they want to talk to their marketing person, they get me. They have my direct number and they phone me. I'm more accountable. There's nobody that I can say, oh, that was Mary's fault, she did that or whatever. They get more personal service. For me, it's only me. And if I lose that client, it's a disaster. So I care more about that each client, and I will definitely give better service than dealing with an agency, etc., right? Then we look at the benefits. So I've just given the one emotional benefit there. So because I'm a one-person business, it means I'm more accessible, more accountable. I give a better, more personal service. So the client feels better cared for, better cared about. The client. So another way to say that could be that the client feels like important, like a VIP. That they have, they feel comfortable. It's all about the feelings. What might help to understand about it is if I go forward just to the next page, to show how the customer proposition works. The customer proposition is not a customer-facing statement. So this is not a strap line. It's nothing like that. It's actually just your thing to use everywhere. So the customer proposition is what we stand for to the target market, to the customer against the competition, and how it can be delivered. So for example, Paula Ronan delivers clarity and confidence to clients using her skills of perception honed over the years of experience and her no-nonsense approach. If I was going to turn that into a positioning statement, which I know I don't want to confuse everybody, it's just I put it in here because somebody might have asked about that as well. So to small businesses with 8 to 50 employees and no in-house marketing, Paula Ronan is perceptive, practical, and positive versus the competition. So generally speaking, for my clients, when I'm doing my clients' brand and marketing strategies, I use that customer proposition more than the position statement. Oops, I don't know what. So what we're trying to work out is, sorry, oh my goodness. What we're trying to work out is from this exercise, we're looking at the benefits. We're going to pick out some common denominators from that to get this X. So you deliver X, that's the clarity and confidence to clients, using Y, and Y is going to come from somewhere between the advantages and the features, if you know what I mean. So that makes it a little bit different to the SWOT analysis. The features column should be as long as possible. So really pick each element of that. Because you're so used to it, you're within that, you're working in it, you know yourself so well, you've done it, you can't see it. We're all the same. We cannot see, I don't want to be really cheesy, but we can't see how great we are or how much value we can bring because we're in it, So so for example, I have a client, a lovely, lovely client, and they're a jam company. They make jam, right? And so I've worked with them for a few years. I went to, they'd be talking about, oh yeah, come into the factory for a meeting, blah, blah, blah. We're doing this in the factory, we're extending the factory, etc. And then one time I went to on a food tour to Cork, and I visited another jam factory, their competitor. And I had a tour with a group of people. I had a tour of their factory, and theirs was a factory. They had everything automated in the whole building. You couldn't see any fruit, nothing. It was all machines and this and that. And when in my client's company, they were stirring pots by hand. They were cutting lemons and taking out the pips to make pectin to set the jam. And when I came back, I said, no way is anyone to use the word factory ever again. This is not a factory, this is a kitchen. It's a kitchen, and the process that they were using to make their product was so vastly different to their competitors, but they didn't realize, Alina, because they did it every day. That was just their normal. And the same with you. I'm sure you look at the network that you have created here and the event that you have put on, and you've done it dozens of times before. What you've achieved is remarkable, and each element of it deserves its own recognition. So, and the same for everybody here. I would imagine there's a similar story. You have to pick out every small element of what you do. I know it's really difficult. For myself, it's very hard. And for years, I used to moan sometimes about, thinking, oh my God, my job would be so much easier if I was at a checkout in a supermarket or something, because every time I work with a client, I have to invent what I'm doing. I have to invent something every single time. But now, after many years, I have gotten a little bit smarter and realized that what I have been doing is actually putting together a big process that I can use with each customer. The creative element, ideas for campaigns or promotions, of course, those have to be invented separately. But the process, and like this features, advantages, benefits, that's part of the process that I have developed. That's actually really important. It's an important part of what I do. And I can just use that again and again with different clients and get very, very different results for them that suit their needs. So for everybody, I would really recommend going through that and being tough on yourself and making sure that you get as many features as possible and work through them. So Alina, I'm not quite sure about the time. Oh, summary, there's a summary page anyway. But if I go through this is just a summary of what I have said already, that in order to identify benefits to compete effectively, we need, first of all, to decide who your target customers are. And my own advice on that, because I know everybody engages a lot with digital marketing, is reduce the amount of personas that you're chasing. Just as one freelancer to you, it's too hard remembering 5 or 6 different personas of customers. It's too difficult. We can only do a certain amount of marketing. Focus in on 1 or 2 people, ideally 1, and talk to them. Don't exclude anybody, but talk to your customers and peer group. Don't be afraid to ask directly your customers what they think about what you've delivered. A really important thing to do is to ask them, how did they feel before they came to you? And how did they feel like just before they confirmed the business with you? Because that's what you want to get to. You want to get to that thing where you know the pain that they were experiencing, what they were worried about or afraid of, and how you dealt with that effectively. What was your unique benefit? Do that FAB exercise and define your customer proposition. When you have your customer proposition done, your job then is to bring it to life in as many ways as possible. Write it up on the wall. Everything that you do, you say, is this, so I'm supposed to be delivering clarity and confidence. So I need to do that with my no nonsense approach, I believe. I have to make sure that in my online content, etc., that I actually am living up to that and I'm doing it. So the same for all you guys, that you bring it to life in as many ways as possible. So that's it.